Hey there, it's Maria Hill, and today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about chakras, which are otherwise known as the energy centers throughout our body. Now, chakras are lined up kind of in a straight line going down the middle of your body, and each chakra manages different organs, energies, and different regions of your body. So, we're going to discuss a little bit about this today. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about why it's important to understand chakras as a Reiki healer and how you can help your clients balance their chakras through simply doing Reiki on them. Additionally, let's talk a little bit too about how chakras can give you information about what is going on with the person, and also how you can hone in the Reiki healing to suit the highest good of your client. So I figured it might be fun to use these cards that are chakra cards within the John Holland Psychic Tarot set to explain and show you a little bit about the symbols for the chakras, but also the colors and the number of which one is which. So as we go through, I'm going to hold up each card and explain what that chakra does. So let's start with the first chakra. This is called the base chakra, otherwise known as the root chakra. And in the color associated with it is red, but also black can be associated with it as well. Now, base and root, you can use either word. You can kind of remember this chakra by thinking of basic instincts, basal desires, sexual desire, survival. So it's like procreation, making sure you're fed, making sure you have a roof over your head. It's like these basic survival instincts. Also like fear and being able to defend yourself. All this stuff is contained within this chakra. So oftentimes when this chakra is out of balance, you might see that your client is having issues with, for example, poverty mindset, getting stuck in patterns that are keeping them trapped in a certain cycle. They can't seem to progress past a certain point. They may also have a lot of problems with their sexual organs, prostate issues or ovary issues, hormonal issues stemming from the area, polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, other types of pain down there, issues with periods, on and on and on. So anything associated with that area in that kind of pelvic region, tailbone, lower digestive system is governed by this root or base chakra. So the color red is something you can use to, with a crystal, for example, by placing a red or black crystal on that area. You can also imagine that color kind of coming in and rebalancing that chakra, but that is a very common one, especially with people who've been abused, who've had their boundaries violated over and over and over. You might notice that their root chakra area is having a lot of interesting blockages, energies, however you see it as a practitioner, because different practitioners visualize this stuff differently or sense it differently, you'll feel something is going on there. So that's just a little bit about this one. So now let's move on to chakra number 2, which is kind of in the area right below your belly button. It's the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is really responsible for things like money, creativity, sexuality, those kinds of things in life. So again, if someone has been disempowered over and over and over and discouraged their whole life or abused, this is another chakra I find that can be a little bit not at its full glory because of this continued disempowerment. So here you might put any kind of orange stone. For example, if you wanted to empower that chakra a bit during a Reiki session, you can always amplify that by putting some orange calcite. You can put sunstone or even carnelian, for example, on that area right below the belly button. And you can also imagine using less like orange gold energy to empower that area as well, along with the Reiki energy. So that's a little bit about the second chakra, otherwise known as the sacral chakra. Okay, so let's talk about the third chakra up, the solar plexus, the sunny little sunshine chakra. This is a yellow color is associated with this chakra. And really your solar plexus chakra is your empowerment center. It can also be a joy center, creativity can also come from this place. Your ability to project yourself out into the world, to be able to express yourself. And again, this is kind of part of that trio that I see when people have been shut down and abused and disempowered or not given opportunities. I see this solar plexus also being affected, and you could see this kind of playing out in their lives when they are afraid to put themselves out there. They have low self-esteem. They maybe have great ideas, but are afraid of failure and do not want to take a risk. They're afraid of pursuing creative fields or their own business. Like they have this little voice in their head that's always making them doubt themselves. And also you might see issues with the stomach, all kinds of stomach issues, really all types of upper digestive issues, as well as I would say the organs in that kind of quadrant. So you can think of not only the stomach, but I would also say the spleen and pancreas as well could be considered governed under this chakra. So pay attention to, your clients complaining about these types of issues. Again, should be able to sense in with your hands and also your other psychic senses if there's stuff going on there. Feel around each chakra and let it kind of give you information. We'll dive a little more into that a little later, but that's just a little sneak peek. So next, let's talk about the heart chakra. This is the fourth chakra up in your system. And of course, this heart chakra is green, and it's right in the middle, right here in your chest. Not actually over your heart, it's in the center. So the heart chakra, green is one color, but pink is also associated with this chakra as well. And so in this area, this is your love center. This is where self-love comes from, love for others, empathy, for self-forgiveness, forgiveness for others, and anything involving emotions. So again, if people have been severely neglected, abused, having major emotional issues, self-trust issues, trust of others, you might see the heart chakra not operating at its full capacity. Spend extra time here. I find that sometimes spending extra time on the heart chakra can loosen up some other of the other lower chakras in the body. A lot of times I find it's tied in with these other lower chakras. It kind of unlocks them. So trauma really affects the heart, and it can make them the client unable to move forward in healthy relationships. It can make them constantly doubt their own feelings and emotions. It can cause them to be numb or detached or dissociated emotionally. It can also cause them to have heart palpitations, lung issues, all kinds of sensitivities that affect the lungs and affect the regulation of how the heart functions and all the arteries, as well as even like fluid in the chest, all these types of things that can come with that, inflamed parts of the lungs, and also shortness of breath. And, of course, people really need to make sure they're going to the doctor and getting checked up if they're having any symptoms, but you might commonly find symptoms like this. Also, people might report mysterious pain in their chest that they can't explain. If people have had open heart surgery of any kind or open chest surgery where the chest is cracked open, you can usually find a lot of trauma in the energy field around that area where the tissue has been violated. It can really mess with the body and the body's sense of safety and security as well. So again, use your senses to empower that chakra with Reiki, but also you can imagine the chakra being filled with green or pink light. You can also imagine, love and healing and self-acceptance pouring through with the Reiki healing energy. So you can use stones like green calcite, aventurine. I really like using green calcite for the heart. Why? Because green calcite is such a calming stone. It's so calming as it is. It feels really loving and soft. Also, rose quartz is an excellent stone for the heart chakra, very commonly used. And if someone has had a lot of issues with emotional issues, you can recommend for them to wear one of these stones. Rose quartz is really durable, so it's a great one to wear in the form of jewelry. And there's plenty of other stones you can use, but these are just some commonly found ones that are easy to source. Okay, so let's dive into number 5, the throat chakra. You can see it's this blue color. And really, you can use any blue stone, light blue, richer blue color, but the throat chakra is so important. All of them are, but the throat chakra is so important for people to be able to speak their truth, be able to speak their ideas into the world, to be able to put forth like demanding of respect for themselves, and to be heard, to be validated. Also, this is the chakra that is used for people who are bringing forth other dimensional energy with psychic abilities into the world. So channelers, people who are teachers, people who are public speakers, people who are speaking to large audiences like figureheads, or you, for example, Steve Jobs, like how he used to do those keynotes, like that kind of energy, being a empowerment coach or counselor. Throat chakra is so important for that to be spinning beautifully, because otherwise you can end up having trouble formulating your sentences. You might feel choked up, quite literally, when you're trying to express an idea. You might freeze when someone asks your opinion on something, or when they ask for your input. You might not feel confident to express yourself or your ideas. This can also bring self-doubt, mental self-doubt. Also, you can see people who are generally, if it's really affected, they can even be like very, very afraid to even talk. Their voices might be very light, or you might see people with an inauthentic tone of voice where they're talking many octaves higher or lower than their natural voice all the time, which is very straining, because they're uncomfortable with who they are and how they express themselves. So other things that can cause issues with, or that can manifest into other issues in the throat area: thyroid, vocal cord issues, throat issues, esophagus. So yeah, anything in these glands, your tonsils. So yeah, with comes anything that's being regulated by, for example, the thyroid, acid reflux, anything that's coming up in this region. This whole area, I would even say, even at the shoulders and I would also say even like your upper back, like shoulder area, neck, back of your neck tense tight. Strains, like if someone has had neck injuries or strains, it might affect the throat chakra. And also even up here into your nasal region, sinuses, mouth issues, gums, teeth, tongue, palate of mouth, facial structure, jaw, TMJ. I mean, this is it controls a lot of stuff. Tension headaches can come from your jaw and go up, ear problems, all up in there. Again, you can use different kinds of blue light in here, light powder blue, richer blues. Use your discretion, and always keep in mind what to let the client's body tell you what it needs. Now, Reiki is intelligent. We technically don't have to go through each and every chakra and like rework it, but this can make for a more immersive experience for both the practitioner and the client. It can feel very empowering. It can help the session feel more active in some way. And also, you can learn so much from each chakra and parts of the body with this. So I think it's a great addition that was added when working with Reiki, because it used to just be in one point of the body, putting Reiki energy in and letting the Reiki do everything. So Reiki has continued to evolve to be more interactive over time. Next, let's dive into the third eye chakra, which is chakra number 6. And you can see it's this kind of indigo color. How beautiful is that? And you're, of course, as the famous third eye, people tend to want a shortcut to this chakra in their chakra balance development and psychic development, inner development, because it's the fun one, it's the visual one, it's the one that, gives you cool visions and trips and stuff. But really, I can't tell you how many people I've seen where their third eyes and their crowns are extremely overactive, and the rest of their body, their chakras, are just not functioning well, from literally the neck down, and causing all kinds of spaciness, imbalance, mental health issues, chemical imbalances, personality disturbances, even like being like dissociating a lot, getting migraines all the time, headaches, cluster headaches, having issues with the brain. So remember that just because a chakra is really open doesn't mean that's a good thing either. We're talking about balance. We're talking about Not too open, not too closed. You can have negative side effects from being too open or too closed. We want something that's in the middle, that's in natural state. And that's different for everyone. I think sometimes people try to overforce the balance, but everyone is meant to have their chakras balanced custom. It's not a one size fits all solution. So if you go and make everything the same, that may not be ideal for that person. They might need a little bit bigger of a heart chakra opening for what they do, but still balanced for them. And that's going to take time and practice to understand. So when we talk about third eye being blown open, for example, very vivid nightmares, dreams, not wanting to be awake, wanting to sleep all the time and wanting to just dream, being way too interested in other dimensional things and being completely ungrounded, almost being distracted, over creative, over hyper, almost manic, or even depressed, to like just extremes. You see really mega extremes with this. And so, it's important for this chakra to be brought into balance because it can literally unhinge us from our physical reality, which sounds like it would be fun, but in fact, it makes our lives extremely difficult. And we're not meant to just be living in other realms. Otherwise, we would not have incarnated. This is very important to know about the upper chakras because people are always trying to force these open with very strange consequences at times. So we want to bring that back into balance according to how that person's energy system is working. So if you want to empower this chakra and, bring some balance into it, you can use color. You can use indigo. Lapis Lazuli is actually a stone that's really associated with the third eye. People who want to develop more psychic abilities might place lapis lazuli on their third eye as they're meditating or sleeping. Even I've heard of people like taping it to their forehead while they sleep. So yeah, this is a powerful stone. May not always be the right one to use if there's an overactive one. So you might want to experiment with different stones for different levels of imbalance. Use your discretion and, bring it back into balance, as we said, as the body needs. Now let's move on to the crown chakra, which is lucky number 7. This chakra is, of course, on the top of the head. I always like to think of it as like a big funnel that's just like, woo, like catching all the otherworldly information. Channelers really heavily use this. This is creatives, people who are bringing in crazy ideas, concepts, innovation, solving problems. You don't even have to be an artistic person to have this open. You can be a researcher who's bringing in new ideas and new solutions. Like you can be innovating anything. But if it's too open, again, we have issues with the brain. We have issues, again, also can cause pain in the head, different types of potentially even like tumors, or it can cause mental disorders, definitely like mood imbalances. It can cause dizziness, confusion. Dizziness is like a big symptom actually for both of these chakras. I almost looked like I was like, loser. So that was totally unintentional. So when you have these out of whack, you can get very like vertigo. You can get very disoriented. You can even be lethargic because there's like too much energy like piling in. You could be confused a lot. You can have very distracting thoughts. You might be like almost to the point where like you can't get anything done because you have so many ideas all the time. And so you're jumping around from one idea to the next. You're never satisfied. So yes, people with ADHD, people with autism, anyone on the spectrum can tend to have these two chakras kind of a little bit maybe out of balance. And, again, they're going to have the condition still, but you can bring them into be more functional so that they can manage those much better. We're not like necessarily just getting rid of people's conditions. We're helping them manage them or provide relief or comfort. So it's, that's the doctor's job and the medical professional's job to actually physically treat the condition. So basically, crown chakra is an amazing one, but if it's out of balance, it can make it extremely hard to, again, live in this physical reality, to be a part of civilization, to get anything done. And of course, it's very disruptive to sleep. With both of these upper two chakras, you see issues with insomnia, almost like, hallucinating or seeing people at night, or seeing weird things happening at night, or even during the daytime, yeah, that's the last one. Now, there are other chakras, arguably above us and below us, but these are the main ones we're going to be working on as Reiki practitioners. Now, I would like to note that as a Reiki practitioner, I've observed that there are also energy centers in the hands and in the feet. And so I like to also address those sometimes if I feel drawn to, especially in the feet. I use the energy centers in the feet for grounding at the end of the Reiki session. So I find that that's a very powerful point to work on people from. And it really brings the Reiki healing to a nice balance at the end. So that's a little quick tip there. Now, just a little note about learning from each chakra. Chakras will speak to you. You might get visions, you might get feelings, sensations, tingles. Your hands might get hot, they might get cold, you might feel pins and needles. You might physically feel things that aren't there tangibly, but you might feel bumpy things or spiky things or soft things. You might actually physically yourself feel more tired when you're over a certain area, more energized or angry. Pay attention to the emotions you feel as a practitioner as well, because this can give you a hint as to what your client is experiencing and what kind of potential imbalances they're working with. Additionally, always remember that the chakras are a system. They're part of a energy system in your body. So we are never just focusing on one. We're trying to get them to communicate with each other again. We're trying to get them to just be in their natural state for that person and aligning them for that person, as we've said several times. So we want to continuously throughout the session even go back and forth, even if we need to now that we've adjusted this, we might have to go back and adjust this, back and forth. We might even need to hold on to a couple at the same time to bring the energies in the middle, to experiment with different things. And every Reiki practitioner should feel free to start to bring in some of their own intuitions and how they handle things. We're teaching a traditional kind of Reiki, but feel free to add on as you go. And I think it's one of the most beautiful things is that Reiki can really be so adaptable and people can really customize it in so many ways. So don't be shy and know that you're not doing it wrong. You just follow your gut and you're going to be a-okay, and your client's going to be happy too. So that's just a little primer on the energy system, otherwise known as chakras. And we hope that was helpful for you. So give it a try. Try working with your own chakras and see what kind of information you get. So with that, we'll see you in the next lesson.